Assalamu alaikum, chapter Direct and Inverse Proportions. Topics to be discussed are Exercise 1C, question number 16. For reference, we are using Exercise 1C of this book, so stay tuned.
Question number 16, exercise 1C. A contractor agrees to lay a road of 3000 meter long in 30 days. 50 men are employed and they work for 8 hours per day. After 20 working days, he finds that only 1200 meter of the road is completed. Now, how many more men does he need to employ in order to finish the project on time if each man now work 10 hours a day? So, what is our contract? The contract is to lay a road of 3000 meter long in 30 days. And how many people are employed? 50 men are employed and they work for 8 hours per day. Alright, so how many variables are involved in this question? Let's see, men and hours and the length of the road. So I'm going to write over here, men, working hours, and length. All right, so we know that when three variables are involved, for what we have to do, we have to solve this kind of question in two steps. So in first step number 1, we have to take one variable constant. We have to keep one variable constant. So in this case, I'm going to keep men, this variable constant, because we need to find out how much work 50 men has performed in 8 hours, and after that we will find out how many men we are required. So let's keep it that 50 men perform 8 hours per day, and okay, so 8 hour per day, performs 8 hour per day. Let's see, and they built 1200 meter long road. So 8 hour per day, and they worked for how many days? They work for 20 working days. So the total working hours will be 8 multiplied by 20, right? And 8 multiplied by 20 is 160 hours. So 50 men built 1200 meter long road in 160 hours. Now we have to find out that if they have already worked for 20 days. Now 10 days are left, right? So we have to find out if the 50 men have performed work for 20 hours, 160 hours, and produced and lay the road 1200 meter long. We have to find out how long they will build in coming 10 days. So how will we find out that? We will multiply 10 days, and if they will work for 10 hours. So first of all, let's find out that can they complete their job in remaining 10 days if they work for 10 hours a day. Let's see. So if they are working 10 hours per day, for 10 days. That means 10 multiplied by 10, 100 hours in the coming 10 days. How long? What would be the length of the what would be the length of the road? Okay, we don't know this thing. So let's see. I'm keeping this variable constant. This is the working hour. So let's check out if the working hour decreases, the length of the road decrease or increase? Simple. If the working hour decrease, their work will decrease. Okay, their work will decrease. And if the working hour will increase, their work will increase. So what relationship is this? When one value increase, the other value increase, what is the relationship? Yes, this is the relationship of direct proportionality, which is an indirect proportionality. When three values are known and one value is unknown, what formula we need to apply? We need to apply this formula: 1 upon y1 upon x1 is equals to y2 upon x2, right? So this is going to be our x1, this is going to be our y1, and this is going to be x2, and y2 is the value that we have to find out. And let's find out y2. We already have formula. Y2 is equals to 1200 multiply by x2, that's y1, multiply by x2 100 and divided by x1, that is 16, 160. What would be the value? 0, 0 cancel, and the value of y2 after all the calculation is 750 meters. All right, now we can see that if 50 men will work for 100 hours, they will produce in the coming 10 days, they will produce 750 meter, which is not required. What we wanted? We wanted 300 meters, and the total will not be, as we can see that the total number of the length will not be 3000 meter. What we should do now? We should calculate that if the length of the road is 30,000 minus 1200, that is 1800. Okay, so if the value of the our required length is 18 meter, how many men are required for this sort of work? Okay, so now let's see how many men are required for to lay a road 1800 meter long. So our length is, why did I do 3000 minus 1200? Because we have seen that 50 men cannot perform the job. Okay, the first 50 men, if they work for 100 hours, they will perform 750 meters. So we took out our required meter, and then we will check how many men we need to employ. So 1800, 3000 minus 1200, which is already built length. So 1800, and we need to find out how many men are required. Now I am keeping this 100 hours third variable constant, because this is what we have to do. They are going to work for 10 hours per day for coming 10 days. So this will remain constant. Let's see. If the number of the men increase, what will happen? If the number of the men increase, will the length increase? And if the number of the men will reduced, will the length reduce or increase? Okay, so we can clearly find this out, that if the number of the men increase, the length of the road will increase, right? And if the number of the men will decrease, the length of the road will decrease. So what kind of relationship is this? Simple. This is the relationship of direct proportionality again. And for direct proportionality, we are going to use this formula. Why we are going to use this formula? Because we have seen that 50 men, if 50 men work, they will produce 750 meter. How many men are required to produce 1800 meter, right? So this is going to be x1. This is going to be, now this is going to be 750 meter is going to be our y1. This is going to be x2, the required number of men, and 1800 is going to be y2. Simple. This is the same question that we did in exercise 1a, when 3 variables are known and 1 variable is unknown. So let's do it. y1 is upon x1 is equals to y2 upon x2. That would make, what we have to find out? We have to find out x2. Cross multiplication, x2 is equals to y2 multiply by x1 upon y1. And x2 is equals to 1800 multiply by x1, which is 50, upon y1, which is 750. So our answer is going to be x2 is equals to 120 men. Now we require, how many men we need? We need 120 men. Sorry, we do not need. We have established that 50 men can lay 750 meter of road, and 120 men can lay 1800 meter of road. Let me write it down here. One 20 men can produce. Okay, so if 50 men work for 100 hours, they will lay 750 meter. And if 120 men work for 100 hours, they will lay 1800 meter of road. Now the question was, how many more men does he need to employ in order to finish the job? So he has already employed 50 men. We will minus 120 minus 50 from 120 to get, and the answer will be 70. And how many more men he needs to employ? He needs to employ 70 men.
And thank you for watching. Subscribe for more updates.